Hi, and welcome to Slot Leader, a Cardano finance podcast where we bridge the gap between the world of traditional finance and businesses and the world of blockchain technology. I'm your host, Umed Saidov, and in today's episode, we will explore the issue of marketing in crypto. Our guest today is Artem Chesnov. He is the CEO of Ubex AI. It's an AI-based marketing platform that lives on Ethereum, and he is going to be sharing with us his thoughts and his observations about what marketing should entail in crypto. So if you are in this space, if you are a stake pool operator, especially in Cardano, this episode is kind of for you. Before we go on, I would like to make a special announcement to all our viewers and listeners out there. We have reached more than 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, which is a substantial milestone for me. We started this whole thing back in September 22nd, and fast forward 2 months and a change, and we've got a robust group of people who watch our show regularly and interact with us. To that end, I would like to also say that I will be conducting Ask Me Anything sort of questions, information sessions, AMAs, and I'll be announcing those on Twitter. If you are following me, you will be able to receive those notifications. I'm thinking about doing those on the weekends, and it would be a perfect chance for us to interact. And if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them there. So stay tuned, and thank you so much for watching and listening and supporting our podcast. If you are a Cardano stakeholder who would like to support this podcast, you may do so by delegating your stake to Skylight Pool. Skylight Pool is a professionally managed Cardano stake pool that's been there since the ITN, and we've produced a lot of blocks and a lot of great rewards for our stakeholders. So if you're looking for a pool to delegate to and you like the type of content that we're putting together, you might want to consider our pools. The tickers are Sky and Sky2. As always, I would like to remind our viewers and listeners that Slot Leader is an educational podcast, and as such, we do not provide investment, financial, tax, or legal advice. So every week, I take a look at what's been happening in the crypto sphere in the past week and bring to you some of the most prominent and economically significant sort of news events and kind of hash them out. And in today's episode, I would like to cover the significant event that took place this past week, and it is the introduction of Top 10 Crypto Index Fund by Bitwise. It is a very significant event in a sense that it provides avenues for institutional investors to invest in digital asset space. We know that Grayscale has been doing that for quite a while with their own fund, but this type of fund is quite new in the sense that they take top 10 cryptocurrencies and then weight them by market weighting and make them available for institutional investors and high net worth individuals. Now, why is it important, right? The importance of this is to make sure that we have avenues for capital to come on board that may not otherwise have had this opportunity. So Bitwise is one of the secure and approved ways, to access this capital market without exposing yourself to too much regulatory and risks. So it is right now available only for high net worth individuals and accredited investors, I should say. And registered investment advisors can actually invest in this fund. Looking at the fact sheet here, we can see that the top 10 currencies, including Cardano, by the way, is a constituent of this index fund, and it bodes really well for those currencies who are part of this index fund. So I'm super glad that Cardano can be purchased through this fund, and it creates demand for the top 10 cryptocurrencies that are included in this index fund. And the other thing that is significant is that we have now a surefire way of creating these funds. And now Bitwise was the first one, and you can see that they're charging quite a significant amount of money. I think the fees are 2.5%, which is very fat for this space. You take top, it's an index fund. It shouldn't be that expensive, but you can see that there is a demand for this type of asset, in both how much they are managing to charge, and also how much the fund is fetching in terms of open market prices. So at this point, today is December 14th. We have the net assets, underlying assets, net and underlying value at $16. It basically means that, if you take the total value of all these cryptocurrency assets that they hold and divided by the number of sort of shares that they have, produced, they have the net asset value of $16. But the market price for this fund is $38. So if nothing, this metric should tell you that there is a huge demand, and that investors are willing to pay a huge premium on this asset class in order to have access to it, or to have exposure to it. Now, I would like to sort of cover this thing a little bit more in detail, because in terms of exposure, when you think about the asset classes and exposure, it doesn't really matter what these constituents, the top 10 cryptocurrencies, do in terms of pricing. The way these index funds are constituted is that the company behind it, Bitwise, basically buys the top 10 according to the rules that they identify for themselves or establish, and then make that top 10 available for institutional investors. It doesn't really matter usually if it's rules-based. It doesn't really matter as long as we know what the rules are. And the rules, if they are to buy the top 10, then basically they just go to the market at some point, or during a period of time, and start buying those assets, and then make them available for investors. It doesn't really matter what the price does of individual assets, because they are not compensated by the price movement of individual assets in that index. They are just compensated because they give exposure to this asset class, and that's the major point of distinction I would like to make to my viewers out there, to the listeners, that this kind of development is important because it paves the way for other funds to come. So you have one company that's doing this, and I'm sure that other companies who provide these kind of index funds out in the market, they know now that from a regulatory perspective, there's one precedent that has shown that this can be done and it could be replicated. So it bodes really well for the entire space, and I'm glad to see this happen. Another quite significant event that happened in the Cardano's ecosystem was the opening of the first voting on the treasury funds. So for those of you who do not know, the Cardano ecosystem has a treasury fund that funds different projects every 6 weeks. I think that's the cycle at this point. And the first fund that was made available to everybody to vote on is going to be opened for voting. The start date was December 11th, and what needs to happen is that you need to register your stake. You need at least 8,000 Ether to be able to vote on the projects that have been proposed. For those of you who do not know, I have put in a couple of projects in there to ask for funding, and the slot leader is one of them. So if you like the show, and if you would like me to continue doing these videos and create content and make it better, please do support the slot leader podcast. And the second one is Pool Tool Upgrade. and project, and that's where we would like to basically take that platform. I'm part of that tool team, but would like to take that platform to the next level and bring a lot of new functions and features and functionalities that would be beneficial for both the stakeholders and the stake pool operators. Back to the question of registering and voting. So we have until the 15th, 1700 UTC time in order to register our stake. And that's important to note that once you have to register your stake to be able to vote, and the deadline is kind of small here. So today is the 14th, which means, on the 15th, by the time this show airs, I think you will have about two hours to register your stake. But regardless, once you register your stake, you will be able to vote afterwards, starting from the 15th until the 4th of January. So as long as you're registered, you're going to be fine. And I will put the links to the procedures and the guides to register and vote below, down below at the comment section of this video. So once you do that, you will be able to vote. And once you vote, the first lineup of projects will get funded from the decentralized treasury, which is a monumental achievement, I would say, in this space for a decentralized platform like Cardano. I would like to thank everybody who worked on this project tirelessly, including Dor, who is the project leader, I think, on this from IOG. And I would like to interview him one day when he is less busy. So yes, congratulations again to all of you who are supporting Cardano, who are part of this Cardano community, and this is a milestone. Today we have a special guest. His name is Artem Chesnov. Many of you may not know this, but Artem was the person who was pivotal in my introduction to cryptocurrencies. He is the one who got me that VIP ticket in 2017 in New York in a conference. I decided to basically take up on his offer, and he fast forward 3 years, and here I am. I would like to welcome you, Artem. It's great to see you again and to have you on our show.
Thank you, Matt. And I'm really happy that you have received that ticket, you enjoyed the conference, and you enjoy being in crypto now for so many years.
Absolutely. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else at this point. It's a fascinating industry. Artem, for those of our viewers that do not know your background, could you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, so currently I'm heading the company called Ubex AI. We're doing artificial intelligence in advertisement, and we're focused on programmatic ads for financial vertical. So our main specialization is to help financial and including crypto companies to succeed with their advertisement traffic. Yes, so we are buying quite a lot of traffic online from Google. We are authorized partner of Google, from 60 other networks. We are optimizing them with our artificial intelligence-based algorithms, and we're making everything possible to make the traffic as efficient as possible with highest possible conversion. But that's now my background is a bit different. Before I came to crypto as well. I came to crypto just half a year before Umed, not much time before. So
he managed to snap some really good amount of Bitcoin at those I don't know what, $1,000 prices or whatnot.
It's 3,000. It's 3,000. It was the beginning. Was a bit higher.
I told him to sell. I don't think he sold, but I told him to sell at 6,000. I don't think he did.
No, I didn't, but when it went to 20, I also didn't. So in 2017, I mean.
Well,
so I had.
It might be your chance tomorrow or today to catch.
Yes, we are making this podcast in a very interesting day. Yes, because probably it's the second historical day. Probably today will break the maximum. It's exciting. Yeah, so
Yes.
I have so before blockchain area, I was working in marketing. I was marketing director at one of the largest global corporations, responsible for Europe, for Central and Eastern Europe. There, but then I moved to entrepreneurship. I started a company in a tech company, and very fast forward moved to blockchain, where I was involved in quite an amount of token sales. Mainly on their marketing and investor sides of the token sales. So we helped quite a good amount of token sales to succeed in 2017, 2018. I'm sure you've seen lots of our ads. Plus, we have done our own token sale in 2018.
Yes.
We have successfully raised 29,000 Ether in 2018. And probably you still remember our ads because they were everywhere. People believe that we have spent trillions of dollars on it. It was not true. We were just quite efficiently placing the ads. We were testing our own algorithms in 2018. After that, we have developed the technical system. So we have spent the 2 years for the development of technical system. And last winter, we have launched. So for 9 months yet, we're live.
Yes.
We're live with the product.
I remember when I got to know that you're launching a marketing platform that uses Ethereum Ethereum-based token, and manages manages it with an AI in the background. I was quite impressed. And I remember I remember the early ads. I think there were some futuristic themes in there with beautiful girls. And by the way, every time I see Artem, he's surrounded by beautiful girls. So he knows. I'm sure he knows a thing or two about marketing.
Thank you, Matt.
Yes. So Artem, for the reason why I contacted you was to basically give my audience, who might be the Cardano stakeholders and stake pool operators, a sense of what is important, especially for the stake pool operators, because some of them might be struggling at this point, really good operators trying to get some delegators, what we call stakeholders, in order to delegate to their pools, but they might not quite know how to work the marketing side of things. And we've seen a lot of really good operators be left out, even though they have contributed a lot to writing the code and things like that. So in a nutshell, knowing the industry now for quite a while, what do you think works really well in crypto in terms of getting attention?
No, your question is not about crypto, it's about general marketing, frankly.
Okay.
And maybe I will give you the thing that is, I believe it's quite basic, but most people are doing it wrong. Yes. So first, there is a need to answer, what do these people really need? And this is a very complicated question, by the way. Probably the most complicated in all this story. Not what we think they need, but what do they really need? Yes. And second, to think where they are. So where do they spend their time? Yes. So where to find them? So coming back to the question number one, what do they need? Sometimes we believe that people need, for example, to eat a hamburger. Yes. So they're selling to them hamburgers, but in reality, they're just hungry. Yes. And that's a very specific need. They just want to eat something to fill in their stomach. Or they want to eat hamburger because they have a romantic date. Okay, hamburger for romantic date, not really, but okay.
Maybe in Russia.
Maybe somewhere else, yeah. But I mean, there are different reasons why they might need that specific hamburger, and you need to sell it completely differently. You need to market it completely differently in that cases. In many cases, people just need a big button with where it's written money, nothing else. Yes, a big button. So they want to push it, and they're looking for such a button. In many cases in crypto, that's case number one. Yes, and so think, what do they really need? Maybe they need just money. Maybe they need some knowledge about Cardano. Maybe they need something else. Maybe they need diversification. So they need to to think about the lower risks that they are getting because of something. Yeah. Yeah. And then second again is to find where they are. Yes, the first part will give you the knowledge what to tell to people, and second is more important because it will tell you where to tell, because that's more complex. As we are all online now and attention is distracted, you really need to push hard in order to get to the right channels where people are.
Now, in terms of channels, now that you've touched upon this issue, do you believe that the search ads, like the ones that are placed on Google, are more effective, or do you think the video ads are more effective, or you think placing your ads in specific targeted sort of websites like CoinMarketCap could be the most effective one?
The product is pools, right?
Yes.
Because it really depends on the product.
Yeah, let's say it's pools, stake pool operators who want to build awareness about their pools and their value proposition in that regard.
Look, Matt, all the channels can be divided on two groups. Group number one are awareness creation channels, so something that talks about you. Yes, something that gives you high awareness. Yes, so that people know who you are. Yes, the more the better, the more of the target audience. And there are other tools and channels that can give you conversion or performance. Conversion is when they see your ads, for example, or they see your message, and they immediately tell, okay, I am giving you the money to your pool. That's unfortunately, sometimes people don't understand that these are two completely different lives, two completely different tools and channels. Yes, because when you are, and you need to use both. You need to use both because generally there is a rule that a person makes a purchase after the 7th touch. Yes, there is a rule of 7 touches. It means that they might see you first somewhere in the news, then second time they see your ads, then third time a friend tells, and then when the 7th touch comes, then you get converted. That is why you have so many retargeting ads. When you go online, you buy once the shoes and then they are hunting on you, yeah? Because they believe that you still need a shoe, yeah?
Which is wrong, by the way, right? Because you bought the shoe already.
Actually, in most cases, it is right. In most cases, it is right because there is around 30% probability chances that you have not bought it. While if you just target someone, it's maybe 1% chance. So if you just play with chances, it's high chance. In order to build the first contact points, it's much more important to use this awareness creation channels. Yes, so it's not important how deep people get to know you. They just need to know you. They need to know you exist.
Yes, and could you give us examples of those awareness channels, and then we can go into conversion channels?
Yeah, just to make life simple, there is one example of a perfect product that uses only this channel. The name of this product is Coca-Cola. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my former boss from FMCG actually was marketing head of Coca-Cola. Then he moved to our company. And so I have seen all the marketing plans of Coca-Cola. Yeah, they only use awareness channels. So they put signs everywhere. They buy ads not by the principle of where their audience is. So they're targeting the audience, not the channels, not specific, let's say CNBC, but they look where their audience is today, and they're trying to reach as many people as possible. Yes, from their audience. Yeah. So this means for this tool, you can use CoinMarketCap if you're talking about crypto, if you have money, because CoinMarketCap is quite expensive. We are selling it at $3.5 per thousand. Google is selling it for $12 per thousand. So it's not a cheap channel comparatively to average price in US, for example, of $1 per CPM per thousand. So it's in our channel, it's 3 times more expensive than normal price in US. Yes, in Google, it's 12 times more expensive. Same about Etherscan, definitely they're good, and some other publishers. Yes, some other websites that exist there. Yes. Then second thing that can help you build awareness is definitely PR, but in your case, it's complicated because PR, you need a lot of PR in order to be visible. If it's just one article, you will never be visible. So for public relations, the minimum budget is at least $15,000, at least. With $15,000, you can get something like 20 publications. Then, okay, you will be visible. If it's less, I mean, it's useless to be there. Just useless.
Is that 15,000 one-time payment and you will reap the benefits for many years, or what? How does that work?
No, that's about one campaign. Yes, if a public relations campaign is less than 10, 15 publications, I mean, on a global level, you will never be visible. Never, never, ever. And this campaign would cost you a minimum 15,000. That's what I told you.
And if we go through Ubex, is that going to give us?
No, we're not doing public relations. I'm just telling you from my experience. Yes.
Okay.
We're doing traffic. We're not doing public relations.
All right.
Yeah, and then second, when you already created the awareness, you can create definitely through bloggers or through podcasts like this one.
Yeah.
But as well, you need to have at least several. It's not one. One will never create awareness. When you already created awareness, then you can move to performance stuff that can convert. Meaning that if you place an ad, they click and they buy immediately. Yes. It's a slightly different ad. You need to give a very different message there. In the message number 1 that I told you for awareness, it's more important to put a beautiful lady or some funny stuff or whatever that attracts, or cars or whatever that attracts attention. In the conversion, no way. In the conversion, in the second part, you need to tell, do it now. Yes, or only today you have a special offer of additional 20% to your pool, yeah, or whatever. It's something you have to do right now. Yes, it's about urgency. And you have to prove that it's needed right now to a person. For example, you put exact numbers on the ads or on the message. So very different type of a message. And you put it in a different channel. Yes. You put it in Telegram channels, yes, because it's, I mean, people immediately click. You use much more mobile than desktop.
Okay.
Yes, because people immediately click. Yes, on desktop, they watch, they do whatever, yeah. You stop using videos. In the first approach, you can use videos. In second approach, you will not use videos because, I mean, videos, they are watching, they are not clicking. Yes, no, they're clicking, but less. Yes, it's much better to use banners, not the videos. You stop using audio. Audio is only used for the first option, etc. Yeah, so you change the channels.
Yeah. See. Now,
I hope that it answers in general.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. That was great. And so you're saying that you could have either or, you could have both performance and awareness, or do you need to sequence them in the sense that you first build the awareness and then you work on the conversion? How would you, if you were hired or if you were in charge of the operations of a pool, for instance, marketing operations, just imagine, right? And this is what we're doing here in Slot Leader. We're tapping into your brain as a specialist, and you're given a budget. Let's say that you're giving a budget, a decent budget. What would you focus on first, and what would you do second?
First, I would, if it's let's say quite a big pool, because it really depends on your budget size, what you can afford.
Okay.
That's it. Always starts from a budget. I know that our clients always hate the question about budget, but you cannot live without it, because if you have $2,000, it's one story. If you have to $1 million, it's completely different story.
Yeah,
You
well,
can
I mean, we are not at the point where crypto is ubiquitous, so we could just target the entire earth, right? Well, we can, but we will probably reach a very small portion of the population who might be interested in this. So let's say that you're a normal, very small operation. How would you make these dollars go the furthest? What would you focus on first?
Yeah, so in general, the part number one, again, is to create awareness and establish the quality. That's much more important. So I would probably go through some of the cheap but good channels, like bloggers or some of the chats or something similar, where I would talk about the quality of the product. Yes, in case of crypto, what is quality? Quality is about security. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I would talk about the smart contracts if you have them there, or some other elements about security and that you do exist and you exist for a while. Yes. But it's PR, but it's more or less free PR. Yes, because you first start going through the Telegram channels, you exchanging information with them, you exchanging information with some bloggers. Yes, you are using Twitter and some social network just to start. In the beginning, it's complicated with social networks because you don't have the scale. And you try to reach as many people as possible again. So you don't focus on small audience, you reach as many places where you can put your message, and you repeat the same message. Repeat the same message. Don't worry that you don't need to change it. You need to adapt it if you have a negative feedback. Yes. Okay. Probably for a month or two, you just repeat, or 3 or even 4, even 5, you just repeat the same message about quality. Yes, it has to be the touch point number 1. Yes. Then touch point number 2, you already start to invest a bit in paid traffic, because anyway, without paid traffic, you can do nothing. I mean, without paid traffic, you will never reach a wide audience. Yes, because without paid traffic, if you just use bloggers or Telegram, etc., you will always be limited to, let's say, 5 to 10,000 persons who ever saw you, So you need to start with paid traffic, because paid traffic will give you immediately an audience of several millions. Yes, you can try to go for, let's say, cheaper options if you don't have a budget. You can go to CoinMarketCap if you have more budget. Yeah. But definitely, by then that moment of time, you need to already have good social networks with good number of subscribers. Because otherwise, if people click on start researching your pool and they see that it's still in the beginning, they will never make the conversion. Yes, again, you shouldn't use paid traffic in the beginning. You should first get some traction. Yes.
Okay.
With that free traffic and bloggers, etc.
All right.
And then after you make the general paid traffic, you can already move to conversion to higher conversion channels, because during that first test, you will see which channels provide you better conversions. You never know it. No, we know because we have some experience, yeah, but it really depends. Then you just select the channels that were better for you for conversion, and you start pushing there lots of small messages about conversion style messages, the same channels. So for example, if you found out that, I don't know, HackerOne was the best convertible publisher for you during that period, you just push lots of small messages to HackerOne.
Okay.
And you test them. You send one message. If it works, you continue. If it doesn't, you send another. You test lots of hypotheses here on that stage.
Okay.
And you definitely have to always check your Google Analytics to see what was the result. Analytics is really important, because many people tell something in marketing or in traffic doesn't work because they do not check their analytics. Yes.
Yeah.
Plus, you need to be aware that there are lots of not very honest companies in ad tech today. there is a lot of bot-generated traffic. There are click farms, especially in mobile traffic, lots of them. So you need to be extremely careful there. I mean, for example, in apps, up to 70% of the traffic is bot-generated.
So how can you tell the difference? Let's say that I bought an ad, and I've done that before with another business, of course. I bought an ad, and Google is very smart, right? They just basically tell you that, oh, we're gonna just give you an exposure, but you don't know if that exposure is real or not, and you can tell because you're not selling a product if you get lots of exposure but there's zero sales. But Google is making money, right? So you just sit there and say, okay, well, I think this was not real. So, because there's no way that I had 10,000 exposure and zero clients, right? But yeah, I mean, those kind of things happen. So how do you sort of weed out the bots?
There is a way that you show 10,000 times and have zero clients. It's possible, yes, because you might have either wrong message or a very common mistake. The landing is wrong. Yes, so I saw many times when people are leading to their Instagram page, for example, they immediately losing 80% of potential clients immediately, same moment. Yes, or they have a very bad landing page without a button buy. Yes, you need to have a button buy at the very top, yeah, or let's say add liquidity to the pool. Yes, so not every time it leads to clients. Plus, it might be simply the first touch point. As I said to you, you need 7 touch points. Yes, it might be very good ad, but it might be just number 1 or number 2, and you still need 5 touch points to reach it. So it's just about the scale. So so your question was about bots. Yes, it's not an easy thing. I need to advertise Ubex then, because in Ubex we do have special systems to analyze it. Yes, okay. So we have special algorithms to make analysis, and we can get rid of many of them, but not of all of them. Even Google today, which is a good network, even Google has around 10 to 15% bot-generated clicks on average. CoinMarketCap has a lot of bot-generated clicks done by the publisher. They do it in order to get more money and get higher conversion. They try to cheat our algorithms.
Oh, wow.
Because they know that if there are more clicks, we lead more traffic to them than to others. Yes, so publishers try to cheat a lot in that case. But okay, here you just need to select the right partner, I would tell. Either you run ads with Google, okay, and you understand, okay, 15% will be bots, but okay, there is nothing to do with it. Or you run through a trusted partner like Ubex, or like there are some other players on the market, not in crypto. In crypto, there are no other good players on the market with good bots.
You're the only ones?
Okay.
Yeah.
In programmatic, yes. Today we are really the only ones that do control bots. There are not that many players in crypto. In other segments, in other verticals, not in crypto, there are some good players as well, like trading desk, for example, yeah, or some other. And way number 3, there are special independent controllers like Moat, for example, where you can buy this additional report on bots. But frankly, I mean, they will just tell you last year when you spent $1 million, half of it was was useless. Yeah? It's after. They will tell you after. They will never tell you before. And also, you just should not use some of the channels. Yes, some of the channels. Frankly,
which channels should I not use? Let's just go from there.
You just go to your Google Analytics after the campaign, and you look. For example, we were running ads for Waves recently, but we were not doing it directly. There was an agency that was running it. They have hired us, but they took the money from Waves. We ran the ads for them, and they also ran it with one other competitor. They were unhappy with us. They were happy with competitors. Then we asked them, okay, can you show us the reports? they showed the reports. In the reports of our competitor, there was one website that brought around 80% of all the clicks. 80% out of 200 websites, just one website. We looked on that website. It was an absolutely strange website. And also, it's not normal when one website is bringing everything. Yes, and it needs to be at least more or less uniform. In result, the total results were better than in our campaign. Yes, but when you look into details, you see that in their case, it was just one website. In our case, we had it everywhere. Yes, we had quite uniform results, but we had in total less clicks. So it became quite clear that that website was not really an honest one. Yes, it was some, let's say, we immediately block such websites, for example.
Okay.
Yes, some of the competitions, they don't block, some advertisement agencies do not block it because they prefer to have higher budgets.
Of course.
Clients.
I mean, it's a game of incentives, right? They get paid
exactly,
more for more traffic. So
yeah,
they're not incentivized to actually be the police for quality.
Yeah. And one last advice on the bots, you shouldn't be scared of them, but so first, just do your analytics. And second, try not to use too many in-app traffic. So when you go in-app, most of the in-app today is bots, just because you cannot really control it.
Okay.
Yes. On desktops, you can control it. There are algorithms. In-app, every in-app has a separate algorithm. So you cannot really create one universal algorithm to control it. So in-app is just crazy with bots.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Artem. It was great having you. We're right at the end of our dedicated time. It was again, an enormous amount of insights that you provided today for us and for the stake pool operators in Cardano ecosystem. So thanks, for your input. If you have any last words you would like to share with my audience, this is the time.
No, I'm glad if it was useful. But Matt, if you need any help there, I would be always happy to help you with any kind of campaigns. I mean, just with advice, with concrete advice, or with something.
Absolutely.
Just do not be scared to test.
All right.
Yeah, marketing is about tests. It's not about knowledge.
Yeah, it's just that this early days, those stake pool operators are just ramping up their operations. They may not have a lot of budget, but we would like to have whatever budget that we spend, we would like to have channels that are efficient, and that was the point of me inviting you here to discuss this particular topic for the audience. This marks the end of our episode today. I hope you liked the interview and the type of content that we're putting together. And if you do, please do not forget to subscribe, like, or comment on our videos. It really helps us a lot to build awareness about Slot Leader. I'm your host, Umed Saidov, and I will see you next time.